I didn't mean to cut the intro off that short, but here we go. Good morning, and I've updated the studio. I think it looks pretty damn good. Plus, I get to use my drafting table again. It's been kind of stuck in a corner, out of sight, out of mind, but super useful piece of furniture. Guys, wow. So as I was cleaning out space to move back that back wall and clean it up and change the positions of the decorations and all that stuff, rehang the hats, as it were. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, because one of the things that I really wanted to make sure that I did was get the hats in the image, right? And they're a lot of focus because, you got some bokeh in the background to make me look clean. But, yeah, I'm really happy with the way that turned out, and building a new set over there to my left. Not that anything is, not that I usually put up with things being to the left. But that's where the set's going to go, because it's where I have space. Over here's just a wall. I mean, it's a wall with a shitload of computer monitors on it. Anyway, it's Friday. It's Firearms Friday. And that means we've got to take a look at some firearms news. Here's what we're looking at. Now, I'll be perfectly frank. It's been a little thin on the defensive gun use front the last several months, honestly. We still find a DRT almost every week, but it's been a little thin on defensive gun use because apparently the criminals are hunkering down in quarantine too. But, it is what it is. Here we go. Park Manor robbery. Man shot, killed while trying to rob Southside gas station, Chicago police say. So, no surprise, we're talking Chicago. A crime happened in Chicago. Ooh. When you say a crime happened in Chicago, the only thing that's surprising is that it wasn't a politician that was involved. So, a man trying to rob a gas station at Park Manor on the South Side Thursday night was shot and killed in the process, Chicago police said. The man tried to rob the gas station in the 6700 block of Chicago Cottage Grove Avenue around 9:50 with a shotgun. So he went in armed, but another individual shot and faced before the shooter left the store, according to police. And that is why we wanted to do this article this morning, instead of one of the ones about... Now that's interesting. I am apparently having some trouble with my bit rate streaming through. Okay, it's picking back up. There's something going on there. Anyway, so it wasn't a store clerk, it wasn't a manager, it wasn't an employee, at least as far as this article surmises. And these articles are always so short, but that's okay. It was another individual, right? Another individual shot the would-be robber in the back and face before the shooter left the store, according to police. The man who was shot was transported to University of Chicago Medical Center, where he later died. So this is a DOT instead of... while we prefer a dead right there, it's okay to... It's okay to do a DOT if the bad guy dies in the hospital. That's another matter. I am getting some comments over here. No, Krista, it's not you. It's definitely me. There's something going on, a little skippy with the video feed this morning. I'm gonna have to call Comcast and yell at them because my service is slowing down, and I pay them way too much money to get unreliable service. And let me just handle this real quick. I'll just say it. I won't bother typing it in. So Drew is asking what happened to Cameron. Cameron took a bit of a promotion at his day job not too long ago, which has afforded him the opportunity to work a large number of additional hours, which he's taking advantage of, and I don't blame him. That overtime is pretty sweet. But he's got some personal stuff going on that he's working through. So we will see Cameron when we see Cameron. Hopefully we'll start seeing him at least a couple times a week by the end of next week. Certainly beginning of next month we should be able to start bringing Cameron back on. And part of that, I'll throw a little spoiler out there for the future. Okay, so I'm not sure what's going on there. We're having some hiccups over here. I'm gonna run the Xfinity speed checker real quick. Here, I'll even let y'all see what's going on there. So, just all of a sudden, my stream just went to red. Okay, so, my download speed is the bee's knees there. Actually, the mid 300s is slow for this machine. I usually get in the 650, 700 area. Okay, well, we should be okay now. Sorry about that, a little hiccup. So, damn, that totally screwed up my train of thought. Okay, that's where I was. So I touched base a little bit for Drew, and that's so we'll get Cameron. Cameron will be back with us soon. He's just working through some stuff, and he's working a crap load of extra hours at work. So, good on him. Prayers for a timely resolution, we'll say. Thank you. So, the spoiler alert / teaser. So, here's what we're about to do. We're going to be ramping up the efforts on the Bookfire Mind Club. And the way that's going to work, we're still kind of toying with the format. I don't know if I'm going to do a short episode per chapter of each book, or if I'm going to do like an intro episode and then give you some time to get the book and read the book, and then do a summary / video essay on the whole book. And what it'll probably do, the way we'll probably run that is we'll probably just go case by case. You know, if it's shorter, maybe Animal Farm gets a video essay and 1984 gets a chapter by chapter breakdown. We'll have to see how that goes. But that's what I'm building the new set over here for, and that's what Cameron's going to be coming back to. I ordered copies of the Brave New World that'll be here tomorrow, and Cameron and I'll get started on that. So this will be probably the third or fourth time I've read that book, but it's probably been about 10 years since the last time I read it, so I'm definitely due for a refresher before I can go into it deeply. But we're going to start with the post-apocalyptias, and the point to the Bookfire Mind. There's a few objectives here. There's an obvious monetary point. We will be putting a link in the description of each of the Bookfire Mind videos that goes to an Amazon affiliate link. So you buy the book through our link, and we take a commission. There will also be the official Bookfire Mind Club list on brushfiremind.com. Y'all feel free to go check out the brushfiremind.com, but if I'm being perfectly honest, it's not where I want it to be. Right now, it's very generic. It's not a bad web page, but it's not. It needs a lot of love. It's right now. It's basically just a blog full of video posts. So, but it exists, and that's an ongoing project, and that will include the Bookfire Mind Club list, which will be all the books on the Bookfire Mind Club, past, present, and future. If I was to publish it today, obviously there would be one past, that The Art of War, one present, Brave New World, and a crap load of future that I've already compiled. So And it will not be in any particular order. It'll probably just be organized by the author's name. It won't be like it's in chronological order in the order that we intend to do the episode, that we intend to address the books. Because one of the many reasons that we're going to be doing Brave New World first is there's so much going on right now around pedophilia, and California just passed some new laws to introduce pro-masturbation and pro-pornography propaganda into the official curriculum for especially distance learners. They're putting out material that's designed to target 7 and 8 year olds that says, "Hey, you're at home in quarantine, and well, you might be curious. So here's a video link to learn how to masturbate, and here's another video link to learn how to find pornography." Not a video link to pornography, a video link to a video which is instructional on looking for pornography. Krista, if you want to go ahead and buy the book now, I will give you a link. I'll go ahead and post you a link right now. I can do that. And I'll even make it a point not to hit you with the expensive one. I bought 2 different copies. My plan for the books going forward, I will be looking for a nice copy and a cheap copy. This one's kind of a middle of the road cost copy. And when you go to this link, when you use this link to go buy a copy of the book, there is a version of it that's listed here that's $2.99, the mass market paperback. It says that book is $2.99. There's your link. Yeah, it says that the mass market paperback is $2.99. It's $2.99 plus $35 shipping. I tried to buy it myself yesterday, and I saw the $30-some shipping. I was like, oh, yeah, so I'll take the $14 copy and pay no shipping. Thank you very much. So, there's that one. Okay, now we've spent way more time than I intended to just running my damn mouth. So, we're only 15 minutes in. There are some other things that I want to get to. Kind of got derailed answering you guys over here. Good morning, Steve. I did see that you commented, but I didn't slow down because I was talking to everybody else. So, back to the story real quick for just a minute. Another individual shot the would-be robber in the back and face before the shooter left the store. Okay. There's a little trickiness going on here. They say that he shot him in the back and face. They could just as easily have said shot him in the face and back. And I suspect what probably happened is he shot him in the back first, because probably what you have is bad guy comes in with a shotgun, points it at somebody at the cash register, is not a competent burglar, not a competent robber, and so he didn't do a good sweep and clear of the room to make sure that he was secure. I'm loath to go too far into the analysis of his tactics, because I don't want to be mistaken for giving you advice on how to correctly rob a store. But just generically, if you're going to enter a room with a firearm under hostile circumstances, clear the room. Anyway, so what I surmise from this is that the would-be robber went in, pointed his weapon at a clerk, manager, somebody near the cash register, and then the other patron was, over by the drink cooler or something, just on the other side of the room, and said, "Oh, well, that's enough of your nonsense." Boom, and we're done. So that's just how that one's going to work. Now, I pulled up several articles earlier, and I did not read them. I intentionally did not read them. I pulled up several articles with specific headlines from particular sources that, well, things are interesting. I'm going to start with this one from the New York Times. How one man conned the Beltway. The billion-dollar black budget demands secrecy. That made it a perfect target. The spy was recruiting for his secret task force scattered about the Beltway, and grim brick and glass monoliths was a small army of gung-ho companies hoping to turn their patriotic ardor, technological inventiveness, and commercial know-how into money-making national security contracts. The chance to join a covert government program. Okay, you know what? I'm sorry to do it that way, but we're going to skip that one. Let me get back over here. Okay. What the hell, USAA News? Fix yourself. There we go. These 10 examples of defensive gun use underscore Second Amendment's true purpose. This is not the article. Okay. It may be showing. I spent quite a bit of time getting this taken care of and spent a little less time than I normally would on preparing the show for today. Because today is Friday, it's Firearms Friday, and normally Firearms Friday is a little bit lighter. So, here we go. I'm a licensed gun owner, but I haven't carried in years. Why? I'm black and I'm scared. The URL headline for this is Guns, White Privilege, Dangerous for Black Veteran Like Me. I am an Army combat veteran and an NRA certified pistol instructor. I own guns for hunting and personal protection. I have possessed concealed carry licenses in Virginia and North Carolina. I believe in the Second Amendment, but I won't even consider carrying a firearm openly in public. I haven't exercised my right to carry a concealed handgun in more than 4 years. The reason? I'm black. I have a strong suspicion that it is reconnecting, so I'm going to keep talking and hope that it gets back together. It appears to have... Okay, it appears to have reconnected. There we go. So, this writer, Justin McFarlane, opinion contributor, he mentions Philando Castile and says, was killed during a routine traffic stop after merely mentioning the fact that he was legally in possession of a concealed firearm. There's a lie in that sentence, and the lie is legally in possession. He was also, if I'm remembering the Philando Castile case correctly, and take this as a defense of the police officers, it is in most cases unlawful to be in possession of a firearm and inebriated and, under the influence of drugs and alcohol. Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old black boy in Ohio, an open carry state, was fatally shot by police in just seconds for holding a toy gun in 2014. I can put my actual M4 and a couple of my professional training replica M4s on a table in front of you. And if you are someone who handles weapons often, you will not be able to pick the toy from the real one from the table in front of you, even if you pick them up. Not until you pull the charging handle and look into the star chamber to see if there is a gas port or a firing pin. I guarantee it. The Tamir Rice thing was a tragedy. But to the letter of the law, not a bad shoot. Not a great shoot. Okay, one would hope to de-escalate. And just last month, when a 17-year-old white male shot 3 people in Kenosha, Wisconsin, killing 2, police wouldn't even accept his surrender. There was a city on fire, and a boy tried to surrender himself to the police in the middle of an active riot where, let's not forget, the boy that clearly committed an act of self-defense was not the only gunman firing weapons. Right? Let's not forget, part of what precipitated the whole incident with Rittenhouse is that someone else fired a weapon before someone tried to take Rittenhouse's weapon out of his hand, and that's the point where Kyle shot the first guy that he killed. Right? So this idea that, I mean, he said 17-year-old white male. I guess he was courteous enough, he was courteous enough, yeah, not to say 17-year-old white supremacist like so many of the other articles have. But there we get, despite the fact that he was armed with an AR-15 style rifle and onlookers clearly identified him as the shooter, the police let him walk by. Before eventually being arrested, he crossed state lines and got to sleep in his own bed, then wounded another. Okay. To say that Kyle was arrested is dishonest. Kyle went home after he attempted to turn himself in. And the officers told him that they just couldn't deal with him right then. He went home. This crossing state lines thing, he lives in an adjacent city that happens to be on the other side of the border, which both cities abut. It's disingenuous, not dishonest, not technically, but deeply disingenuous to say that his crossing state lines is a major factor here. Now, under the law, it is, and it complicates the case. It does. But this language here, eventually being arrested, it's not like officers went to his house and kicked in his door and dragged him out kicking and screaming. It's not as if he fought the arrest. He went to the police station and turned himself in. Okay? This guy mentions that police wouldn't even accept his surrender. They couldn't do it, man. Have you ever been? He says he's a veteran, right? It says he's a combat veteran. So I find a lot about this article deeply disingenuous. I think this guy, I'm just gonna have to say it. This guy is a plant. He's a liar. Says he's a combat veteran. Either he's a combat veteran, and he knows that in something like a riot is an active combat zone. So what are they going to do with the kid? Are they just going to chain him up are they going to cuff him and stick him in the back of a car and just leave him there for the next 12 hours? So then what? Somebody's got to deal with coming back to turn himself in. When some turn themselves in, they're not intent on continuing to be an active, violent threat. When somebody's trying to extract themselves from that fight, that's no longer an active, violent threat. I have some other articles pulled up from CDC on and black gun ownership rises. So black gun ownership rises amid pandemic protests for racial justice. So we go from that article about firearms being white privilege, and here we are. Okay. the whole streaming system is just, it's crapping out on me too much, guys. I'm gonna stick these articles to the side so I can come back to this in a little later on. Maybe I'll do this episode later today or tomorrow. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it for today because I'm starting to lose my patience with the internet crapping out on me here. Y'all be safe. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on Monday.